and welcome to the Asylum. I'm your host, Don, and with me, like almost always, is Jeremiah. Or from his perspective, he's your host, and with him this time is me, as opposed to the last video.
We have no idea what order these are going to come out in, so that's
So
fine.
for those of you that actually watch our videos as they release, the end of our last video, we said we were going to watch Dragon Quest, not the video game, the movie. But Jeremiah got impatient with me and decided to just do the review himself. And because the movie was so bad, he was able to do it in less than a minute. So,
and then that review came out before Three Musketeers came out. Because Three Musketeers was almost an hour long and took like 5 hours to render.
Yeah, and who knows how long it took for you to edit, because you had to watch it at least twice. Yeah, so at the end.
And then after that, I made you suffer through a bunch of things which are going to come out as shorts.
Yes. So because of Dragon Quest being its own thing, we spun the wheel again. And when we spun the wheel off screen, we got Alien Origin, which sent me spiraling down a rabbit hole to discover.
And I had already seen Alien Origin years ago. It came out with Prometheus, and I said no.
There are 6 Asylum movies that are all mockbusters of various movies in the Alien/Predator franchise. They are not connected to each other, as I have learned. However, there are 6 of them. So I went down a rabbit hole and decided that I was going to watch all of them and make videos of them. So far, they have been so bad that my initial recorded review for Alien vs. Hunter and Alien Origins put together were less than a minute long. So I had to re-record them because you want your shorts to be approximately a minute. Hence why you have 2 videos, Jer, that are about a minute long for you to edit. So we spun the wheel a second time. And the result from the second spinning was a movie that we were actually excited to see, which was
Meth Gator.
No, that was the third spin. The second spin was Headless Horseman.
Oh, yes, that one.
Which we were excited to see. We thought it was going to be one of those fun ones like Three Musketeers that we can just talk about it, right? It turned out to also be terrible. And
Don's watching this one is basically saying, I have nothing to say about this. In fact, it is so boring that I literally have nothing to say, which made me go, well then.
Normally, one of us watches the movie before the other one, and we will text them throughout the movie and be like, look at this stupid stuff, right? This one was just so boring. There was nothing for me to text him about. And so he was like, I really don't want to watch it. Thus, there's another short coming at some point that will be Headless Horseman. So we spun the wheel a third time. And much to Jeremiah's chagrin,
we got Meth Gator, which we wanted to watch. But for some reason, it's no longer on Apple TV right now.
It's been taken off of all streaming platforms. You can't watch it anywhere.
But I'm not removing it from the wheel because we're going to watch Meth Gator whenever it pops back up because it is new enough that it's going to pop up eventually, as happened with Aquarium of the Dead. In fact, I didn't look on YouTube, but next time it pops up, I will actually look on YouTube. I forgot. Because most of these pop up for free on YouTube.
At some point, it will come again. So finally, we spun the wheel a 4th time, and we got today's video, which is
based on an award-winning, very popular, hot topic-filled anime called Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan.
With giant monsters that are missing skin, terrorizing these cities, people swinging on I don't know, lines, whips, fighting these things. Very much award-winning anime, and this came out a week before the 5th season where people were really excited, and it has nothing to do with the show.
Literally nothing to do with it.
But it is called Attack on Titan, which I think happened because someone said, we need to make something based on Attack on Titan. I said, Attack on Titan? That must be about attacking a moon and Jupiter, or, by, because Titan is Neptune's moon. I
Somebody
got it. We're
say-
gonna make a science fiction movie about attacking that.
Yeah.
And they went, sure, let's do this.
Yeah. So Attack on Titan is about, it's set in the future and Earth has not enough water anymore. So we go
I
to
suppose that is the
Titan.
truth. Yes, that was in there, kind of.
We go to Titan. There it is, to get more.
This cover's almost accurate, honestly speaking. It's actually surprisingly okay.
Yeah. So we go to this Titan to get their water, and we have entered into some sort of agreement with the residents to get their water and bring it to Earth. Cool. But when this happens, the expeditionary team that's there gets attacked and sends out a distress beacon. And thus, of course, the all-star team of one of the members' fiance and her best friend have to come and rescue.
Expeditionary team meaning there's like a space station and a shuttle is landing. People attack because reasons. I kind of blinked and people were attacking, and the alien that you see all the time was a decent enough makeup is saying something, and then Michael Paré, who's known as Citizen Prime, says, "Don't land there. Get the ship out." The ship gets out. It tries to get out. It crashes, and in this space station, and then there's an explosion that actually has particle effects and explosion effects that actually like look like something blew up, unlike fire just coming out of a building that's clearly not affected in any way, shape, or form. There was money in that one, and I will give it that. And then they cut to Earth-ish. Not exactly sure if that was Earth or not. I will just say this. This is directed by a director who I don't think we've seen any of his stuff before. His name is Noah Luke. And he put together a watchable movie. He has worked on other Hollywood movies, but not as the director. He's worked with like cinematography for some of these movies. He's directed a bunch of the more recent Asylum movies like Doomsday Meteor, which you haven't seen, Battle for Pandora, which clearly is going to be classic, Thor, God of Thunder, Moon Crash, Jungle Run. But as far as these goes, this is the first one of his we've seen, and at least I will say this: he does put together a watchable movie that doesn't look entirely like poop.
This movie didn't look bad. This was actually pretty good for an Asylum film. The effects were fine. The costuming was fine, except for the masks, which Jeremiah will talk about in a minute.
For one type of mask, the other masks were fine. They're just helmets. But
Jeremiah was very upset about the masks. So aside from the masks, the prop department was fine. The set designs were actually pretty good. I actually was really impressed by the shot, like the aerial shot that they had of like the facility or whatever that they were being that they were captured inside of. Like it was actually really good. But yeah, so we get a disgraced admiral and a captain that are going to go rescue these people.
Okay, this is what the aliens look like. Makeup looks fine.
Yeah.
The look looks fine. These glasses look very futuristic. It reminded me of like, did someone have Google Glass and just went, can we use that for a prop? Sure, it's not good for anything else. Let's use it.
Right.
Things are shot well enough where you can actually kind of see things. They have lighting. Why do they have the same shot in different light?
Good question.
Here's a wonderful poster. They don't really show that much, but Michael Paré plays Citizen Prime, who sends this guy to go retrieve. He wants to go retrieve his wife, who was in with a cargo ship that crashed, and to do it, he's been assigned to go with wife's sister,
his friend,
who's a disgraced captain or something along that line. Who's also drinks a lot. Who's clearly drinking before her assigned trip. After she was assigned that trip, she's drinking. Very, very nice. And also, I like it how her uniform, her official uniform shows as much of her belly as possible. Her navel's showing all the time, and that's her like naval uniform. I don't know how, but sure.
Their naval uniform.
And I'm pretty sure through large chunks of this movie, I kind of just like passed out
Yeah, I zoned
because
out during a lot of
things
this.
would happen, and then I'd wake up like, oh, they're shooting. Why did they get shot at as soon as they landed? Okay. And things would happen,
Somebody,
and they're in the same hallway, and they're still shooting, and this time there's blood, and like different things are crashing. And then multiple
somebody
times
died.
people would set off explosions.
Somebody died, and I don't know who it was or what purpose he served. I like looked away and I looked back, and everybody was sad because a character died. And I was like, "Oh, that's got to be the captain, right?" Because he was wearing the mask, so I couldn't tell who he was. I was like, "Oh man, it's the boyfriend, husband, captain guy. Oh no!" And then the next scene, he's in it, and I was like, "Oh."
Well, there's
And
also
like,
a firefight. So these aliens, they usually wear like this full on mask, so they don't have to do makeup on them the whole time, which is fine. Mask looks okay. But they're having like this laser fight, and you see this alien get hit with a laser, and you see two soldiers get hit with a laser. Then they pull one of them away because he's shot in the shoulder, apparently, even though he was definitely not shot in the shoulder. And then the other guy is not because like his chest was chest bursted, but it's not like blood oozing out. It's kind of like this, like someone threw a puddle on top of his uniform, and it's just kind of there. Um,
yeah,
it's humorous, but most of these shots are in the same set of hallways. If did you ever watch the show Krypton?
the first season.
Yeah. So in Krypton, one of the biggest things against it was it limited number of sets, and you could tell lots of things happen in the same dark hallway or corridor or canyon. And this show does the same thing. You can definitely tell they had very limited space for these sets, and they just kind of kept going through the same area over and over and over again, reversing the shot sometimes not even bothering to reverse a shot. But they went through the same area over and over and over again. And you could tell. There's a lot of laser fire, a lot of people you think are dead and not dead. Like there's a bit near the end where a guy like explodes something, and they're like, he's dead. No, he's not dead. Heck, there's a shot at the very, very end where someone suicides themselves, and then they're not dead because clearly not. Um, I almost got excited in the final act because these alien rebels created a bomb of some sort.
Antimatter Bob.
Antimatter bomb, yes, sorry. And it's on one of these ships, and the Earth Defense Fleet thing is there, just and they're trying to get everything up, and all these ships come in and they scan them and go, there's no antimatter bomb on any of these, and then they find the exact one. And there's a space battle, but the space battle is literally these ships going this way, these ships going this way. Everyone's shooting lasers straight. They're holding the trigger down, and no one stops. It's just pew 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 as they're flying straight. No maneuvering, no dodging, no lasers pausing, no aiming. Just hold the trigger down. Long lines of ships. Like we're talking hundreds of ships. The screen is just full of lasers going straight. No angles. So you don't angle them. And the somehow the ship that was on Titan gets back in time and goes, we know where that ship is, and they see it. And this is where I blink because somehow everyone got off, but the captain who was on it is now an admiral. Not sure why she's an admiral and a captain, but whatever. And then she like does what the holdo maneuver from Last Jedi, where she sends her cruiser straight through the flagship, and this one goes straight through the flagship, and then water comes out, and it looks like it helps the Earth or something because the Earth starts changing color from space. All this water that emptied into space that they needed to survive. She didn't bother emptying the ship of that before she sent it through another ship. And then they're like, oh, she's dead. She sacrificed herself. Oh, she's alive. Let's go get her. How is she alive?
I assume she jettisoned herself at
Before
some
she
point.
sent her ship at high speeds in the middle of a battle with thousands of ships, threw another one last second.
Yes. Yes. All true statements. Yeah, this is a weird one, right? This had a lot of potential. I'm not against the story. The acting was fine, but it was really boring. It was just hard
So
to
this
get
is
in.
like an upgraded Battle Star Wars if the Battle Star Wars wasn't trying to be Star Wars and they put a little more effort into it, it would be this.
Yeah,
Because Marco Pare is basically what that Dark Lord guy was who wore a bathrobe the whole time. Um, and there's still chicks in random amounts of skin. But with Star Wars, they tried to Battle Star Wars. They had like the guy who was like a Jedi, but he also had like the weapons from Halo.
Paladin. I think that's what he was called.
Yeah, and he would like appear randomly and be frozen, but not frozen, and then like be all over the ship for some reason. Like you wouldn't actually know what the heck is going on with him. This one, at least they tried a little more to have it make sense, and I think the fact that they didn't try to have it be Star Wars at the same time helped.
It's watchable. There's not anything really terribly bad to say about it,
It's just
aside from
soulless.
yeah, there's just nothing to it.
No one feels like they're having fun,
Yeah,
and like no one from who's making it or who's in it feels like they're having fun. And most of these Asylum movies, most people are very much aware. Like Asylum of the Aquarium of the Dead, you
yeah.
knew that all those actors knew exactly what type of movie they were in
So
and just had fun with it.
most of the later Asylum
Like the
movies,
crab stabbing, like those.
most of the later Asylum movies, it's very clear that they know what they're in and they're just enjoying it. But this one was like, how did you put it, Jeremiah? You said something about like when they legitimately attempt and then they miss, how disappointing it is. And that's what this was. Like they gave it a real attempt to make a movie and it just kind of missed.
Like
It's like trying to catch fog. You always missed.
like they made a movie, but they didn't really make it for any reason other than we're just making a movie because that's what we do.
Here's the quote. You know when Asylum makes almost legit movies, I think I hate them more because they can't quite make them legit. That's the exact quote. Jeremiah
Yeah,
Stewart.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was Attack on Titan. And yeah, so we're gonna spin that wheel. And while we're spinning the wheel, I'll give a spiel about commenting, liking, subscribing, um, donating, all that good stuff. If you like what we do here, please engage with us. We're trying to build a community. We're very close to hitting 4,000 people. Nightmare Wedding.
This is Ready or Not, isn't it?
Probably. That would be my
It has
guess.
to be Ready or Not.
Let me look it up on just.